Last weekend, United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres, seen here trying to teach Christopher Luxon how to do the twist after banning dancing in a small Midwestern mining town, stopped by in Auckland on his way to the Pacific Island Leaders Forum. When asked about this government's renewing of oil and gas exploration, which takes on average 16 years to see results, he said, "The only thing I can tell you is that oil and gas that will be discovered from now, I am absolutely sure it will never be used." He went on to say it would be as short sighted as cancelling major infrastructure projects like new ferries to connect the islands or light rail from Auckland Airport or cancelling a dam in an energy crisis to pay for landlord tax cuts. Go to the next slide. Go to this slide. On Monday, over 900 homes were left without power in Petone after a helium balloon hit power lines. Energy Minister Simeon Brown is reportedly sad that he lost his balloon. Apparently, it was a gift from the Prime Minister for learning to be quiet when the grown ups are talking in cabinet. Deputy Prime Minister Winston Peters, seen here eyeing up the buffet, took his opportunity at the Pacific Island Leaders Forum to double down on minimizing the impact of humans on climate change with the often used climate denier line of "the climate has been changing forever," at a forum where the focus is on the impact on the islands from man made climate change, where the guest list includes the head of the UN, who was there specifically because of the impacts of climate change on the islands. This week, councils all over the country have been voting on the retention of Māori wards. So far, all but two councils that have decided have chosen to retain the wards, with only Kaipara and Upper Hutt having voted to remove them at the next election, while 19, I think, so far have retained them. This sends a clear message to the current government that councils understand the needs of their communities better than central government. Maybe the results would have been different if the referendum didn't only target wards based on race, while the coalition tried to downplay saying it's not racist, or if the Prime Minister hadn't talked down to local body politicians at the LGNZ conference. But neither of those were going to happen under the current administration. A last minute addition to the controversial gang patch law was slipped into the bill after select committee hearings recently that will see gang insignia banned in people's homes. Paul Goldsmith, seen here showing the Prime Minister his new haircut to make him jealous, claims this bill strikes the right balance in keeping gang patches out of the public. Apparently, the public now includes people's houses, and it's not concerning in any way that the government feels it can dictate what people can wear in their own home. This week, Penny Simmons, seen here proving you don't have to be smart to be the minister in charge of tertiary education, was called out by the Te Pukenga chief executive for conflating the amount of debt the organisation is actually in by 5 times the actual amount. If she needs help with numbers, I know some amazing polytechs that might be able to help if they weren't being throttled by the government to pay for tax cuts. And finally, I promised good news. It's the annual Bird of the Year competition beginning next week on September the 2nd. Last year's competition was hijacked by foreign influences when US comedian John Oliver, seen here stealing the election, started a global campaign to have the Puteki Teki win the election. This year's competition sees the return of the controversial two-time winner, the Kakapo, the addition of the Adelaide penguin, and the exclusion of the past winner, the long-tailed bat. Personally, and I don't do this very often, I will be endorsing and voting for the kakaruia, or the black robin. I mean, look at the little dude. He clearly loves the All Blacks. He's a huge supporter of them. At one stage, there was just 5 of them left in the world, and the breeding program that actually raised its population from 5 to 250 created a new model that now is used to save birds all around the world. Understated, underdog, world leader, world changer. What better bird could represent Aotearoa on the world stage? And that's it. That's our news for the day.